This is Karen Harrison. Welcome to February 15th, 2021 Reiki Call. My website is karenharrison.net, and I have a YouTube channel, Karen Harrison Reiki. Tonight, we're going to have some Reiki question and answer. First, we're going to start with an invocation. And I think we'll have to bring in some warm energy because we have really frigid temperatures here. It's -2 in Kansas City right now, and South Dakota, like -20 or something. Yeah. David, you look like you're even bundled up.
Yeah, I've got some extra layers on. I'm old. I get cold easily.
Yeah, I'm real happy for my ski gear because I've needed it lately. All right, well, let's activate our Reiki energy and draw the power symbol on all four sides in front of us. Create some sacred space over our head, behind, at the floor. And then let's intend to bring the very warm earth energy from the center of the earth. Breathe that energy up on an inhale. On an exhale, let's intend to send that energy out through our auras, cleansing our auras down to the ground, back to the earth. And again, breathing center of the earth energy up, nourishing and clearing our bodies, exhaling out through the aura, down to the ground. And again, up and out. Now let's just do a little brief guided meditation. So let's just intend that we are whisked away maybe to a beautiful cabin in the woods with a roaring fire and maybe a rocking chair in front of that nice warm fire. And we're sitting there watching the flames dance before us with a cup of hot tea or hot chocolate or whatever your favorite warm beverage is. And as the fire dances before us, it's emitting Reiki energy, and the life force energy is dancing before our eyes in beautiful colors of orange and yellow, blue, purple. And as we allow our eyes to gently focus on the fire, we intend to release whatever no longer serves us into the fire. Letting go, releasing into the fire any old stuff, any anxiety, any worries, any concerns. We release, sending it into the fire to be transmuted and transformed. And the fire flames bright, burning it up, releasing. And maybe another idea surfaces of something else that it's time to release. Any old shame or guilt that's hanging around. Time to send that into the fire and let it go. burning it up, transmuting, releasing. And as we let go, there's room for new creative energy. And the fire is a creative force. New ideas spring forth out of the fire and infuse our minds and hearts with new ideas of what we can do, who we can be, what we can accomplish. And these ideas flow over us. That spark of creative energy, infusing us with brilliance, warmth, ingenuity. And we allow ourselves to receive. Now, coming back into this moment of sitting in front of the fire and enjoying the warmth, the rocking chair, and sipping on our hot drinks. And now leaving that nice warm cabin and coming back into the present moment. Back here with all of us, united in Reiki community. And we are grateful for each other, the gift of Reiki. New ideas and inspiration continuing to flow to us. And so it is. Blessed be. Okay, a little warmth.
I actually think my feet warmed up a little.
Good. Send some Reiki there.
Well, I didn't realize they were on the cool side until it's like, oh, well, they're warmer now.
Good. Okay, well, on Reiki Call, first I like to take your questions, for discussion. If you have anything that's been bubbling up or any topics that you want to discuss. And then if we run out of those, I have a few pages of things that people have sent in to me to discuss. So anything on your minds?
I just want to reflect on the question that I asked you about incorporating Reiki into yoga. And I did read that article today, this morning.
Yeah, the one in the Reiki News magazine. And there's more. That was just one.
Okay. Yeah, because I've started incorporating it into my yoga, especially when I do the meditation at the end. So, those other articles, would they be in the journal then, and I just need to look for them? Or
if you go to reiki.org and then go to the store and then find the magazine, okay, you should be able to search on yoga and find magazines that have Reiki articles. There's another one that was written by Cami Cote.
Yes, that's the one I read today.
That's the one you read. Okay. Well, there's been at least 2, maybe 3 articles that I can think of in the Reiki News about yoga.
Okay.
So yeah, Reiki is perfect for yoga because you can first of all activate it for the room. The teacher can send Reiki with her eyes while the yoga students are practicing the poses to help them. And that would have been especially helpful for me because I was really not good at yoga. And I would usually just fall out of the poses onto the ground. And yeah, so that would have been good. And then, you know, the students can use it, especially, you know, activate it to help them get into the poses, hold the poses, and then during the Savasana. Yeah, Joe says Renal born pretzels. Yeah, well, I obviously really wasn't all that coordinated either.
Well, I like too that it works on the chakras in yoga, and they both, Reiki and yoga, both work on the chakras. So I like that idea too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll keep working on
Okay.
it.
Great. Any other ideas about Reiki and yoga? Any of you all do yoga? Yeah? Yeah, Dustin, how do you use it?
I kind of incorporate it like Lucy was saying with the little, actually what you said about cleaning the space and all that ahead of time. And then I kind of use it towards the end with meditation and stuff like that with chakras and stuff.
Cool.
Great. And David, did you say you practice yoga?
I do a little, yeah. I do some flexibility and a little bit of core strength, because otherwise I'm sitting around in virus isolation, and that's not good.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a yoga dropout. I admit it. I after 3 years of it, I finally thought, hey, I think maybe it's time to go to the advanced class. And I didn't like all those downward dogs, so I dropped out, switched to jazzercise, which fits me better because I like to dance. But I had to use it there too because I was really not in very good shape when I started, and learning all those dance steps. I spent a lot of time leaning against the wall, panting. So yeah, right. You can use Reiki to learn how to do all sorts of things, you know, like, well, yeah, Julie was telling us that she is a songwriter, and you can really use it to enhance your creativity. Have you tried that, Julie?
No, and you know, I came to tonight just to be present and to kind of get reactivated, reoriented with my Reiki, even though I do it, but I haven't done this for so long, and I read, you know, your invitation and I thought, okay, I want to go. But no, I haven't done that. Not exactly. I clear the room and you know, and before I do it, but I haven't. So yeah, I would love to chat about that.
Okay. All right. Well, how do you all think that she could use Reiki with her songwriting? What would you suggest?
I would guess that my starting point of view, which may or may not match as anybody else's, is that creativity comes from a divine spark within us. And, you know, it comes in a sense through us, not from us, if I can say it that way. And with that in mind, anything we can do to cleanse ourselves, to center ourselves, would be helpful in the creative process. I read about Einstein, and he would, you know, study the heck out of something, maybe for years, and his insights came to him when he was like looking out so in a sense he was prepared. You know, it was intellectually demanding material and he'd done his homework, so to say, but the insights came to him when he was looking out the window on a train for relativity and at least one of the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lucy, what about you? How did you use Reiki in writing your book?
No, but I do talk about Reiki in the book, and I even referenced Mr. Rand
Okay.
and how it works in other settings.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really, practice Reiki while I was writing it, but I talked about it, so I connected to it, but not in the way that we are.
Okay. Well, Joe, do you use Reiki in your piano playing?
You know, I do master classes for people in technique where I have, children that are not mine and they come to, before COVID at least, they come to a social situation and I have to make the piece better for an audience. And I mean, I have a lot of tools technically that I can draw out, but to be inspired to come to exactly the right thing I need to weed out from all of my tools to make that kid do it correctly. I sort of like feel with Reiki that I it's a form of channeling. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I just sort of like get myself into feeling my higher self and and I get my answers and my intuitions from that. Even in my own private teaching now, I've just reached an age where it almost feels like, especially in this society now where children are home alone and they're not in school and they have, they're not getting their regular lives. I feel like I just like channel the energy, whatever I do to help them. And I think Reiki assists me with that since I've been involved with it since 2000 now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, David.
Uh, this was before I even knew what Reiki was. And it may be more of a mindfulness thing than a Reiki thing, but I can see those as being kind of kissing cousins in a few ways. I have a background in a variety of things to do with computers, and there was a point where I was a one-man team. I mean, I answered to a director someplace or something, but they basically just let me do my own thing. And I would like get into the zone, so to speak. And this won't mean anything probably, but it was a huge amount. I wrote a 10,000 line system of computer code in 12 weeks. And that was everything from the analysis up front to the documentation and the implementation at the end. And industry standards are like 10 lines a day of debugged code is the average. So I did 10,000 lines in 12 weeks, and just normal 8, maybe 9-hour days. But it had to do, I mean, I remember it was sort of a unique experience. It sticks out in my memory how I wasn't distracted by my monkey mind. I was just doing this. And it actually helped that I did the analysis and I did everything because it was all there. I didn't have to read anything. I just, I had done the homework. I was prepared and I just sat down and did it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, I can share about the process of writing articles for the Reiki News magazine. So I've been doing that for a long time. And first, so this can apply to your songwriting process, Julie. First I listen for, okay, I just ask God, okay, what ideas, do you want to drop into my head? Like what topics do you want me to write about? And then I just kind of listen in and tune in and then see what I'm most excited about of the topics that are presented to me. And then I just make the request to God to formulate it all, and then just download it to me so that all I have to do is sit down at the computer and type it out. And, when it comes time, I'm giving myself Reiki every morning. I'm spending usually 30 minutes to an hour in Reiki prayer and meditation every morning. Most mornings, it probably averages out to about 30 minutes. And, listening for ideas and inspiration then. And then when I go to sit down and write it, I activate the Reiki. And, many times it just flows. Sometimes I have to do a little research for the article, like on my Reiki for body image. But many times it's just fairly easy to write and it just flows out. And I remember one article I'd planned, I don't know, like a few hours over 3 or 4 days to write it, and thought I would be spending the weekend doing it. And, I just sat down and wrote it. It was like, finished it, boom. Okay. I had the whole weekend free.
Nice.
Wow. So that's how I work with the creative process. For me, it makes it easy to activate Reiki. And I think as Joe said, it's just a channel for the energy. Reiki helps to open up that channel of divine inspiration, divine ideas. And it's the feminine receptive way of receiving, where we just open ourselves up and spirit blesses us with these ideas. And Reiki provides not only like the channel for the ideas to come through, but the vehicle to deliver the ideas. So these ideas are more easily coming to me in a way that I can utilize them and, just sit down and write.
Yeah. I've
So,
done, I prep, I do all my research and, getting my creative ideas together. That's, I don't think that ever stops. But, and I do a lot of meditation and prayer time, but I have not activated Reiki when I have sat down to do it. So I will do that now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that, and I bet I'll see a big improvement. I feel very effective where I'm at, but heck, I'm connected that way, so I'm gonna use it.
yeah. Try
Thanks.
everything you have.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else? Anybody? Any other topics you all would like to discuss?
I got a topic. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. In these difficult times we live in, I hear a lot of people that talk to their galactic federations for advice, or people from Andromeda. There's all kinds of people out there that, are trying to get inspiration on how we navigate through these difficult times. And then, we who are in tune to holy fire, we have the brothers and sisters of the light, right? Which is kind of interesting. So I'm wondering, with that type of resource, if you had any ideas on how we could also get more concrete guidance as to how to navigate through these difficult times. I had asked William Lee Rand, maybe you were there, he had a podcast from his home in Hawaii a couple of months back. And I sort of posed, the same question to him. And his particular advice was, to go into Gasho and imagine that there's a stream of light going up, to the higher powers of Reiki, and to have faith that that's going to give guidance, which I thought was pretty interesting advice. But would you have any ideas on this? I'm so sick and tired of hearing of people who've got all of these federations or something, and we have these brothers and sisters of the light. What can we do?
Well, that's a cool question. So I think it really depends on what your best high sense perceptions are and how you perceive your guidance. For me, I don't have any real formal way other than, activating my Reiki. After years of effort, I finally taught myself to visualize the symbols in my hands. So I just hold my hands out and I visualize, all the symbols, starting with the holy fire symbol, and then, the power symbol, mental emotional symbol, all the way through the Sui Master and the Karuna symbols, and put them all in my hands, and then, call on my spiritual source, whoever I am wanting to work with, and the brothers and sisters of the light, and then just ask for guidance and ideas, like, okay, God, what do you want me to write about? Tell me the topic and, what it is. And a couple of ideas have been downloading into my head lately. And then because I'm in this building process, I'm also asking to be shown, you know, the right and perfect builder. I mean, like 2 weeks ago, I woke up and I thought, I'm going to buy a lake house. Well, the next day I was looking at lake houses, and by the next day I put an offer on a lake house. And 2 days later, the lady decided not to sell it. And I was disappointed, but also kind of relieved, because I thought, oh, this was a somewhat smaller, quite a bit smaller. I thought, how am I going to fit my life into that house? But it did have a killer view. So, you know, just trusting, okay, not that, something else is coming along. And, you know, then looking around, and then another couple of weeks go by, and boom, I have a lake lot. And the next, you know, and then I'm just listening in, okay, God, now I need a boat dock to go with that lake lot. You know, who do I get the boat dock from? And, you know, got some guidance, but then felt pretty clear, okay, about which one, you know. So there's guidance by feeling, you know, just kind of feeling your way through. There's guidance by hearing. I'm pretty good at hearing. Some people are good at seeing, you know, they'll have ideas drop into their mind in the way of pictures and things. And that's another way of knowing. Some just have, you know, like brilliant thoughts drop into their mind. You know, that's another way of receiving that guidance. And then there's people with a sense of smell. That's a really interesting kind of guidance or taste. So I think, you know, lots of different ways that we can receive that guidance. And I think that one of the things that we learned with the advent of Holy Fire Reiki is to make sure that we are only calling on the highest forms of guidance. You know, prior to Holy Fire Reiki, we would talk about Reiki guides, and oftentimes students would just have Reiki guides drop in, especially during attunements. But it was like there was no vetting of those guides. You know, is this a good guide, or is this, you know, like a so-so guide that really isn't going to be that helpful? So with the advent of Holy Fire Reiki, you know, we talked about calling on what we call third heaven beings, you know, which are the enlightened beings, whoever you think those are, you know, including the brothers and sisters of the light, the founders of all the world's religions. So anyway, yeah, lots of different ways of accessing that guidance. I think it's really unique as to what your way of perceiving that is. Is there a certain way? Are you more of a hearing person, or knowing, or thinking, or feeling, or?
Yeah, well, actually, my question, I was actually not on a micro level of my own life, because a lot of people in the world were very deeply affected by how we perceive our worldview about the way the world is going. And I was thinking more in terms of, you know, getting guidance in terms of how we need to navigate our life, not so much on a micro level, but more on a macro level, given the world situations. I was taking like my question was a little bit more on a worldview type of thing, how to get guidance about that. But I mean, if you think the technique is the same, I understand.
Yeah, well, I would think the technique would be the same. And, you know, also asking for guidance for all the world leaders. I mean, that's something that I do on a regular basis, you know, ask all the world leaders to be given guidance about how to, you know, make policy decisions and things for the highest good of all concerned. Okay, yeah, David.
Senior moment, it got away from me.
And welcome, Suzette.
Oh, I remember. I think I remember. No, got away again. As soon as I stop trying, it'll come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think how we
okay,
get our
okay.
guidance. Go ahead.
I'm a big believer in collective consciousness. And I think the most significant thing any of us can possibly do for the good of the whole world is to clean up our own energetic woundedness, heal, so that our participation in the group consciousness is the highest it can be. And I mean, I participate in various groups where we're basically trying to, for lack of a better word, inject love and light into group consciousness. And sometimes we get a little more specific. We've done things for all the politicians, and other times it's just for the best and highest good of anyone who will choose to receive our offering of light.
Yeah, well, I really agree with that. Whatever we do to heal our own woundedness and raise our consciousness is a gift to the world. I created a little graphic on that that I sent out by text a while back. And Reiki makes it easy to do that. It's not a struggle to heal all of our old stuff, our shame, our guilt, our failures, or whatever it is. We can much more quickly and easily heal that by just activating our Reiki symbols and using the distance symbol to send Reiki back in time to heal the original cause of whatever it is, name the issue. And then those issues don't have to clog us up. And that then comes back to that whole creative process. The more that our energy field is clear and clean, the easier it is for us, I think, to be in the creative process. If we're bogged down with a lot of old woundedness stuff, that makes our energy fields heavy, and we're not as open to that whole creative process. So, well, hey, Dustin, any thoughts you want to add in on all this? I know you're a deep thinker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the conversations of just reattunement of different scenarios to higher consciousness. That's what I've been kind of working on myself, and like you're saying, David, the whole healing part to better anybody around me, and that I can touch and be a inspiration to, with healing myself to better myself and all that. So I've just been in a I live by myself and have for a while now, so it's been nice to have this to kind of keep myself calm and collected, and then I'm in the construction business too, so I use it a lot through just keeping my I go in and I clear my showroom out and my office and stuff like that, to just kind of, because it's COVID construction craziness in Kansas City right now. It's as busy as I've ever seen it in our, last 20, 30 years. So it's kind of wild to see us so crazy busy in an industry right now. But I definitely use it to keep myself calm and collected when there's, 50 people knocking at the door at, one time. So that's my 2 cents for this evening.
Thanks. Well, one of the things that I wanted to do this evening also is to have a little time to work on that collective consciousness and send some Reiki. And, there's a lot of people right now that are dealing with power outages and very cold weather. I was talking to one of my Reiki students in Texas that lives in a camper, and, can't get that camper above about 50 degrees. And he's pretty cold. And my other student in Texas, without electricity. So I'm just wondering if we could put our powers together and send some Reiki out there to help all the people, and, and all the homeless people. I mean, another of my friends ex-husband's, lives in a van, and I just can't even imagine, how do you even manage living in a van in this kind of weather in Kansas City? So for all the homeless people. So let's activate our, all the Reiki symbols that we have. And then let's spend, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes or so. Let's just send some Reiki to all those people that need help and support right now, whether it be the weather or COVID. Another of my Reiki students this past weekend is recovering from COVID, and just some Reiki for all the people that are in need and hurting. And you can just hold your hands any way you want in Gasho or beam, or hold your hands on your lap, and let's send it out. And so now we just gently bring this to a close and affirm that the Reiki energy is continuing to flow to all those that need it and continuously inspiring all of us for what we can do to contribute to the betterment of the world. And we say, thank you, God. So I'm wondering for future Reiki call, if there's any topics or speakers that you would be interested in me having on the show.
Animal Reiki, pet Reiki, that would be interesting topic.
Okay. All right. I did have Pam Allen LeBlanc on to talk about animal communication.
Mm.
So you can find that on my website at KarenHarrison.net.
Okay.
All right. Any other?
I'm not quite sure where you could go with this, but you know, in my crossing paths with a lot of different Reiki people, some of them are very clearly from a particular school, and I'm spread all over the map. I've been attuned to the level of master in 8 different forms of Reiki. I've never had more than 2 attunements from the same master. A lot of them were distance attunements from people all over the world, England, Russia, you name it. And I'm not quite sure what my question is in there, but I guess it's, you know, the validity or how well do the different schools play together and that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, that would be interesting. How well do the schools play together?
Well, you know, it all started with Mrs. Takata and the Reiki Alliance. I mean, you know, when she passed, Barbara Weber Ray went off and did her old thing and invented what she called real Reiki, and all the rest of the masters banded together and says, well, that's not right. Here's what's right. And, you know, that just spread from there, and the whole concept of independent masters. And then out of that melee, people like William Rand kind of came along and said, well, wait a minute, we can standardize this and we can have either the way or at least a way of doing it. I don't know. The other side of that coin is, I mean, I suppose I've personally met and talked to 100 different Reiki people, and I'd say 80 to 90 of them didn't know there was any system or school other than the one that they had been taken. They had Reiki from their master, and that's what they knew.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's in our code of ethics to honor all Reiki practitioners and teachers, regardless of lineage, and to do our part to harmonize the Reiki community, you know, not saying that any one way is better, and that each person will be guided to the school of Reiki that is right for them and to the teacher that is right for them. So yeah, that gets into some Reiki history. Yeah, I read Robert, oh gosh, how do you say his last name? It starts with an F, his book on Reiki history recently, Fuentes or something like that. Yeah, well, William would probably be a good one to talk about that. So maybe we can have him back on.
Could I ask David, like having an alphabet soup of Reiki, is that all mutually inclusive? I mean, does it really work that way, or, you know, or do you think it's best to have one
Or
lineage?
not.
Did
Okay, we're back.
you hear my question?
No, I had a Reiki freeze from you guys for about a full minute there.
Well, I was intrigued by the fact that you said you had a lot of lineages. So my question was, do you think one can have an alphabet soup type of Reiki approach in dealing with, is that really work to make you a powerful healer, or is it better, you know, this could be a question, you know, for the thing, is it better to have one lineage?
Well, and I mean, I can only say that the path I've been on seems to have served me very well. I mean, I've trained about 40 students over the years. I've participated in a lot of Reiki shares. The people that I work with are, happy to have me there and like to work with me. But that was the fork in the road I took. I don't know what would have happened if I'd gone down a different fork.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, my Reiki career parallels my whole spiritual development. I never picked one teacher. I never picked one teaching. I picked up from Adyashanti and Eckhart Tolle and Byron Katie and the Dalai Lama and all kinds of people. And it just, maybe it's more about how a person's personality will help shape the way they proceed as much as anything.
And that gets into a little bit of studying, deep or wide. And that applies to Reiki and other modalities. So I wrote an article about that. It's on my website also. Some people will take a modality and, like go deep with it and stay with that modality, and others will go broad, and one is not right and the other wrong by any means. Just, what does a person feel drawn to do, and what do they feel inclined to study? Okay, well, hey, it's time to wrap up. So thank you all for joining me on a very cold night. Stay warm. Thanks for sharing your Reiki energy and your love with each of us and with the world to contribute to, all of humankind. And yeah, thanks, Suzette. And I look forward to seeing you all. I have Reiki Circle the second and fourth Mondays of the month, 7 Central. So come join us for that. Okay.